was like, okay, maybe something just happening somewhere. But as they call it, geopolitics and the rest of that. I said, America, for over the years, for like decades, right? America does not do anything for free. The Iraqi war was paid for by with the Iraqi oil. You see, every penny spent in all these places, Afghanistan or Iraq, all these places, right? It is only Donald Trump that is kind of like so straightforward to tell you and say, you pay for it. But, generally, we will say, oh, they are coming for the oil. Oh, they are coming for our oil. Look at what they did in Iraq. It was their oil. Look at what they did in Libya. It was their oil and all of that stuff, right? But what you don't really get is that if for any reason the leadership of your country decided to swerve away from their supposed constitutional kind of like power to begin to dwell in things that will then make your country vulnerable to this kind of a treatment, because Venezuelans didn't do anything wrong. It's the leadership. Yeah, the leadership for decades have pushed them to this level that even Venezuelans themselves are like more than willing, not all of them, more than willing to have an American intervention. What happened last night is something some will tell you in Venezuela that they've been looking forward to for the past 10 years or even more, right? But the point here is this. In Nigeria today, we have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who have lost their lives. Now, we also have millions of people who have become homeless, okay? And a lot of Nigerians have been wondering, how is it so hard? But how is it so hard for the government to protect the people? It got so bad that Nigerians started petitioning international organizations, countries. Do you get that now? Like because they have seen their governments. Like, it's not like they overlooked whatever the government is doing. No, they have seen the hypocrisy, the collusion of the government with those considered to be the sponsor of these killings in Nigeria. Their agendas are no longer hidden, but pretty much politicized, tribalized, whereby the real thing is hidden behind tribe and religion. But the government knows better that once, no matter what your agenda is, okay, the moment you begin to actually commit murder or killing of people, that agenda is dead and the government should deal with it. But rather than deal with it, the government are doing everything to suppress the news, suppress the voice, blackmail the victims, while openly they are celebrating the graduation of this repentant terrorist. To the point that Nigeria now got to a stage where not only not only that the Nigerians are kind of like surprised what kind of country that these guys have now forced or foist on them, right? Other African countries have been like looking Nigeria as like a joke. Like, what kind of leadership do you have there? You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, we all have our own problems, but I mean, Nigerians, how did you even allow this to fester this long, right? Okay, it got to the point where the US Congress started debating the killings in Nigeria. And it was after that that the government of Nigeria started showing a kind of interest. Oh, we are going to act, we are going to, sure you get. But they've lost the trust, they've lost the confidence of the people to the point that the most that others are looking for, most Nigerians are looking for is, when is America coming? When is the America coming to come and save Nigeria from this terrorist? And similar like what just happened in Venezuela. So the government of Nigeria, they still have that space, that grace to show that, listen, like Tifnubu said, is currently like ordered, right? So to show everybody that, listen, it is no longer business as usual. Every terrorist or their sponsor, caught, and you know what I mean, like, should in fact be prosecuted now. Like, make it a spectacle. Look at this display when they are giving the report, when President Trump, who sat through the night when the operation was going on in Caracas, and then he had to come and brief Americans what he just did, what we have just done. All right. So when everybody who participated in the operation, I mean, like back home in America, okay, detailed, like very much like part of it, so detailed in feeding and all that, right? And the moment they are told to come and, I mean, they are to tell Americans what really happened. So an average American, right, would probably feel so proud. Yeah, Americans, you know what I mean? They feel so proud because their government is not keeping the vital information, okay, away from them in the name of national security, while behind the scene, maybe they are hobnobbing with these terrorists, kind of, right? So President Trump came, announced that what they have just done, why they did that and all that. Then the general of the joint, I mean, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs came and also gives the details of what they just did. And while you are seated there, you can imagine, you could imagine how that played out, especially if you have watched many American movies, right? You can imagine like, oh, well, 150 aircraft coming at once. Those ones who are there to extract the target, others who are there to suppress any form of fire attacks or whatever, like shootings, others, different ones sent, including the submarine that is waiting, very close to the coast. The moment the extractors brings him on, and then the submarine will take him away. Then they will put him on the aircraft carrier. All of that kind of plans. Why is it so impossible for the Nigerian service chiefs, okay, to actually brief Nigerians of a successful operation where they have neutralized a certain group of terrorists in Nigeria? It is their country. America had to leave America to Venezuela. This is Nigeria, inside Nigeria. Like, how interesting do you think it's going to actually be, right, when your own service chiefs, for example, comes in to say, just at the hour, I'm going to try. So please, you may actually have to endure a little bit of because I'm cracking it up right now. Okay. So just imagine that the head of the service chiefs in Nigeria, chief of army staff, I've been a chief of defense staff, somebody who have actually fought war, somebody who have led, soldiers to war front, shooting and all that, who understand the real, kind of like a theater of war, want to tell you, civilians, what they have just done. So let me just say this, right? Imagine your service chief comes and say, after Tifnumbu, for example, your president announced to you that Nigerians at exactly 7 p.m. local time yesterday, we carried out an operation called Operation Babale. Do you get what I mean now? Like, get the eye chiefs for these terrorists. So, and this operation targeted 3 different locations, okay, which includes strategic, their strategic point of where they are storing their arms, or where they have this kind of, like strategic locations of these terrorists, okay? And at exactly 9 p.m., 2 hours into the operation, we extracted, what's that guy's name? Bello Turuji, as well as his deputy, Suleimani Kalakuta or something, right? So we have the 2 of them, and we also, killed several terrorists as well. On the second operation, we also arrested the leader of the Lakurawa, Bina Mahmuda terrorist, his second in command, their armorer, the armorer and all of that stuff. So we have all of them in custody. So the operation lasted for about 8 hours, and it was a very successful one. We deployed 15 fighter jets for this operation. We have all the joint forces, all the joint service chiefs, all the joint forces came together, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the DSS, and, then somebody comes back to tell you the atrocities of these terrorists and what is going to happen to them. Like, you as a Nigerian, wherever you are all over the world, right? Like, you could picture it and say, wow. And then the footage comes to show you how all of that happened, okay? And how they mob all of them out together. I mean, you feel proud in your military if they do that. No, that's not in Nigeria. Their own is to come back and tell you, oh, they will all wear their starchy uniforms, okay? All well starched. They will be holding their walking sticks, okay? And then they walk straight to go and see Tifnumbu. After that, they will address the press, and you'll be hearing things like, oh yeah, we are just here to see the Mr. President, to tell Mr. President that everything, we are on the, on top of the situation. And Mr. President is very proud of what we have done. Mr. President has now ordered us to ensure that the protection of Nigerians, protection of lives and properties, we ensure of that. And Nigerians can be very, very rest assured that this president is not joking with the security of lives and properties. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. As they are living there, the terrorists themselves are already busy kidnapping Nigerians, killing those they will kill, demanding ransoms left, right, and center. The next week, you're going to see them again in the villa, Aso Villa, right? Briefing Tifnumbu of what? What do they go there to tell him? Even Tifnumbu is not in Nigeria right now. Yeah, like your president didn't spend the new year in your country. That's a different conversation, okay? So, before we go to Nigeria fully, this was part of the clips coming from Venezuela after Maduro left. Now, you have those for and those against. There are those who believe that the cartels, the gangs, are going to probably stage a reprisal, a kind of like civil war stuff, right? But hey, so far. So what is going to happen to Venezuela now? Well, it's probably going to be a bit better for them. As in, let's be serious. Venezuela economy is in tatters. Their currency is in the gutters. And yeah, maybe they can actually help them improve that as promised, or they will leave them worse off. The most important thing is leadership of a country that will lead the country to this state, to this kind of situation, right? I think should be prevented from actually accessing power, right? And those who took power in Nigeria in the last 10 years have tilted Nigeria towards this kind of a situation now. Because yeah, there are Nigerians who are going to welcome welcome the Americans' aircraft and all of them bombing things inside Nigeria if they can help end APC. And do you know why? All of that built up to this level. This is not because APC, they don't like it. No. Don't say that. Not liking APC is a build-up anger, disappointment, and others. Sure, you get. It was the same APC. Egbekegbe that was the bride of many Nigerians. And yeah, half of those who shouted change in 2014, 2015, I've actually seen the change themselves enough that a lot of them are cursing them today, except for the Runukus, the Runu Nazis, the new lovers of Nigeria. Yeah, because Tifnumbu is a president. There are those who are going to welcome Americans to come in if that is all it's going to take, right? To break up the country. Something that they are warning all of us, right, to be careful of what we are wishing for. If you wish for America to come and help you break Nigeria, do you think they love you? Do you think this, you know what I mean? All those questions. But yeah, the leadership, the poor leadership, the bad leadership have pushed Nigeria to this state that there are Nigerians who want them to come and sure you get. You can call them any names you want. It doesn't really matter. To them, election can't fix Nigeria. Protest can't fix Nigeria. Revolution is likely never to happen in Nigeria. So many of those who are supposed to actually really stand up and push back, majority of them have been so economically demoralized, educationally, miseducated, and the ambition for something better, right, is not really there anymore in massive number. It is crazy. You see, when people say people deserve better, they deserve, I don't know why Nigerians cannot fight for their right. I don't know why they cannot. And I'm like, do you know that there is no 50-year-old Nigerian that can boldly tell you that in his or own lifetime, he has witnessed a 24 hours electricity? 50-year-old, like they are close to those who will tell you something closer, like, oh yeah, in our time, we used, you know, those stories, right? I'm not saying 50 and above, 50 and below. The last 50 years, 5 generations of Nigerians who have never actually really seen, lived, witnessed a working country ever. Do you understand what that means? The generation that have never really seen a working country. They have nothing to miss. They have nothing they can tell that we are missing. Do you get what I mean? I say, we used to have 24 hours electricity. We used to, you know, and these are the kind of like a demography, the demography that is said to be the highest, or should I say the largest part of the population. 70% of the population, age 0 to 40, 70% of the population. So let's use 40. Since they born me, I have never witnessed a working country ever. And there are those who are of my age inside that Nigeria, and that is all they know. All they know. Okay, me, I have left Nigeria. I have seen things. I have seen 24 hours electricity. I have seen actually a working system, tough but working, right? But there are those who are of my age who have never seen anything like that, and they do not believe it is possible. That is the shocking part. You will see a Nigerian that will tell you that 24 hours electricity is not possible. Don't let anybody deceive you. When you talk about the rate of poverty, they will tell you about the homeless people in the country you are also living. Like they have no other, they have not seen anything different. This is the world they know. So where is that motivation going to come from? To demand for something better. A system that actually takes care of them. A system that holds their own leaders responsible. Some of them don't believe it. They don't believe it exists. Like, where do you want them to get that motivation from? That is why it is so sad. Indeed, very, very sad that most Nigerians who have actually lived outside Nigeria, they went back to Nigeria, got access to political power, and they have done worse than people who actually never really lived outside Nigeria before they got access to political power. Disappointingly. You will see some of your senators, some of your state governors, some of them lived 10, 15, 20 years in America, in Europe, in all over these places. Then they ended up in the political office where they could make difference. But rather, they contributed more to the rot, unfortunately. So me, I do ask myself, like when you say to Nigerians that they don't know how to fight for themselves, they cannot, instead of them to stand up for their rights, like, hang on, what are those rights? Have you seen anybody enjoy any of those rights you want them to fight for now in this generation? So it's so tough. Some people said that those Nigerians, I mean, this is also something again. People said that those Nigerians who are in the diaspora, they are the ones who are going to end up fighting to change Nigeria. And I'm like, nah, the solution to this situation, right, is very simple. We are not the same people. There's nothing wrong if we end up in the same country, okay? But there must be terms and conditions that everybody actually agreed to in order to that we will respect. Because without that, you can't run a country where some group of people believe that Nigeria is the estate of their own